how to save a policy that's wanting to cancel. We covered real quick in the last video what it looks like, what to say to get back in front of the client over the phone when they want to cancel. Now you're sitting in front of them face to face. And I just want to point this out real quick to you. If you get in front of 10 extra families, maybe every month and a half, that want to cancel, and you save 80% of them, which is a ratio that I've seen, that's 8 families that you'll save out of every 10. That's $8,000 on average. In fact, in 2017, I looked at my numbers and I issued paid over $400,000. If I had 10% more stay in the books, that's $40,000 more in income. So getting back in front of the clients, it's a big deal as far as retention, and it's easier to get that client to see the value again and resell them on it than going to try to find another client that doesn't necessarily see the value and make that sell. All right, so this is what you want to do. First is you want to have them sign a form. So I say, perfect. I get down, sit down in front of them. I say, Bob, Mary, sign this form. This is to cancel the protection on the family, and they sign it. You can say, I don't have a form. You can just write up a form. I, Bob, Mary, request to cancel my life insurance effective immediately. I no longer need the protection. They sign it. Now, once I do that, I go to point 2, and which is, now Bob, because now I've already given them what they wanted. They expect me to go in there and try to convince them not to cancel, all this and that. And so I'm already kind of like switching up their expectation and saying, listen, it doesn't make a difference to me. I'm just a field underwriter. I'm not the sales rep trying to save it or get you to keep it or convince you of something. That's not my deal. I just field underwrite. So that's why step 1, have them sign the form. Step 2 is I step back and say, by the way, guys, I'm just curious. And this just comes from me knowing how important it was when I first sat down with you guys. And I'm just simply a field underwriter, not a sales rep. So I ask you just out of curiosity, I mean, what's caused you to want to cancel the protection for your family? What is that? And when I ask that question, I'm going to identify what the reason is. And that's what I need to overcome, is not the fact that they need to cancel or want to cancel. It's why they want to cancel. And that could be, it could be budget. It could be their cousin Billy said that he's paying only X amount, but he's 20 and they're 40, and they're like, he's like, you're getting ripped off, and they don't even understand the concept of as you get older, it costs more kind of thing. Or it could be any of those things, right? And so once I identify that, if they just say it's budget, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step back and say, listen, I understand, guys. I mean, everybody, for the most part that I meet with, budget is something that, they have to take into consideration. And if you're like anybody else, they don't live with an extra $3,000 a month in disposable income. A lot of times just a couple $100. And so it's hard to play it all out and make sure that their budget's gonna efficiently work every month so they can pay the bills, put food on the table, etc. So I understand 100%. In fact, Bob Mary, I think most clients feel the same way. And this is what I found. So the whole found process, to kind of relate to them, let them know I'm not trying to convince them of anything. I'm just trying to be the guy that walks them through the thought process of what makes the most sense. And I'm gonna say, listen, what I found is this. When it comes to the protection for your family, you're always gonna have balls you're juggling, so to speak, in your budget, trying to figure out things and make it work. And so the best thing that most clients will kind of, rest upon and go back to is that it all falls upon priorities. What's most important, and then you kind of scale it from there. Or else what might happen is what is most important for you gets squeezed out, and things that are significantly less important take that space. And so what I know to be true is this: with all the uncertainties of a budget, the one thing that is certain is that your family is the most important thing to you. Bob, I know that from sitting with you and looking at this inventory that we took, that your family is the most important thing to you. That being said, I know that if you don't come home tomorrow, that $2,000 is gone, and Mary, you're gonna have to figure out how to survive off that. And if you can't afford it, or if it's tight now, imagine what devastation that's gonna look like while dealing with the passing of Bob and trying to emotionally get through that devastation. Now sitting back saying, how do I pay the bills? How do I do that? And so I think that you would agree, Bob, with me. And Mary, I know you'd feel a lot better. Is just like most every other family, realizing this is one of those things you have to make work and fit everything else around it, because it is that important to your family. And Bob, as an underwriter, it's not even my job to do it, but I couldn't convince you that you would want to pay the $60 a month, but you can't convince me that in a priority list that your family's not the most important thing to you. So this is one of those things I think we both agree that you really probably want to make sure it stays in place. Is that fair to assume? Well, you're probably right, Paul. Okay, great. And now, if I need to scale back in that, this scenario and say, let's look at something a little bit lower, I can look at something a little bit lower and resubmit it. But you always want to go back and see these families. And this is the way you want to flow through it. Sign the form, why cancel, go back to their why, right? That picture that you painted in the first time you sat with them, financial inventory, what it's gonna look like when they pass away, that emotion, get them feeling it, getting them back in that picture, and then go back to the close. So hope that helps, guys. Take care.